Tracy here. I decided tonight to tackle a new prompt. Nina Rabina has a Facebook group where she gives out one prompt that carries through the 4 weeks. You can either do one a month or do the same prompt for all 4 weeks. I am going to start out with one a month and see where it takes me. This one was a little bit difficult for me because it was supposed to be recycle, reuse, which I did do. But I also threw in a little bit more mixed media than probably what was intended. But that's just me. That's how I am. I found that I have to have a little bit of my mixed media in there. So I did get the prompt done. This is how it turned out. I opted to do it as a tag rather than a full journal page, just because my focal point was so small. I did pick my focal point out. I don't know if you're supposed to have a focal point. I have a focal point. And I picked that out and I geared everything else, colors and everything around that focal point. So that's what I came up with. Now I'm going to switch to my overhead camera so I can show you how I created this tag. Today I'm going to be working on a tag that I made from some leftover watercolor paper. This is for Nina Rabina's prompt this month, which is recycle and reuse. So I'm going to recycle this piece of watercolor paper. So I cut it into a tag shape. It's approximately 4 by 6, and I pulled a bunch of stuff out of my scrap paper stash. I may use it all, I may not. I really don't have a plan in mind other than to lay it down and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and get the first layers on, and then I will move on to the next step. For this step, I will probably, since it will take a while, I will fast forward it, and then when this step is done, I'll come back. Okay, so that's dry enough to work with. And so I have my background texture. Now I want to do not a complete gesso over it because I want it to show through. So what I'm going to do is a light wash of gesso. So I'm going to take some of my gesso and I'm going to mix it slightly with water. And I'm just mixing it off camera here. Don't want it too runny, but I don't want it real thick either. Using my little mister bottle. Then, like similar to an ink consistency, like when you splatter. Because like I said, I do want a little bit of it to cover up, but I want like a transparency. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that a wash real quick. Like I said, I don't really have anything particular in mind for this. I'm just kindly taking it as it goes. A lot of times when I journal, I try and have something in mind in what I want to do. But I thought I'd just have fun with this one and just go with however it turns out. So there's that. Now I'm going to dry that, clean up, and come back. I decided I'd like to add some color. I'm not sure if I want to do it. I think I'm going to do it with paint. And then I will come back and revisit the paper. So, for these colors, I would like to use... I'm going to use Anita's Craft Paint in light turquoise. Anita's Craft Paint in hot pink. Anita's Craft Paint in lime, and we'll work with those, maybe some of the orange, and Craft Smart maybe in burnt orange. I don't know yet. So this part is where I'm going to put it on with my fingers. I have found in the last couple projects I've done that I've really enjoyed doing it this way. It gets really good coverage. Almost has like a distressed paint feel to it to me. I guess that's why I like it. The object here is not to create mud though. I think it needs a little bit more pink right here. Right there. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now I'm going to dry that and then I will come back. As you can see, I did add a little bit of that burnt orange before I dried it, and I really liked how it ended up turning out with that little bit of addition. So now I'm going to use some washi tape that I found in that I had probably a year ago been in an exchange for, and I found it when I was looking for this other stuff. So I thought maybe I would use some of that on here for yet another piece of interesting texture on it. So I'm going to tear some of this off. And it does follow along my color lines. So hiding the end of it's the problem. You can't see it. I think that's enough of that. And now I'm going to add my pieces of paper. For this, I am going to use my glue stick if I can find it. I recently started rearranging my work area, and I really don't know where things are at now. Okay. Found it. I was lucky in that case. So, I'm going to glue stick this down. Rather than matte medium it, I can always go over it at the end with matte medium just to, for an extra added sense of security. Okay, there's that. Now, let's see what else I got here. I'm sorry I'm not very chatty tonight. I have got a little bit of a sore throat. Let's see. What's here that will work? Oh, well, looks like I thought the layer was off of that, but I guess it wasn't. So let's pull that up. Let's see if we can get the layer off of it and start over. Looked awful translucent to me. I guess looks can be deceiving. stuff that went through the doily. Whoop. Okay, so that layer's down. Put that to the side. So, now what I would like to do is to reintroduce my paint over top of this. So I will start with my turquoise, like I did last time. Use up what I got here on my plate catcher first, and then I'll move on to something else. Okay. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to introduce a focal point that has all these colors in it. And let me go ahead and cut that. Some of it anyways. I'm not the best at fussy cutting, so I'm not going to get really intricate with it here. I'm just going to take some of the edge part off. This is something that was on a memo pad I had, and once I got done scribbling what I needed to on it, I couldn't bring myself to throw it away. I just love this picture. So I thought I'd use it on something. So I'm going to use it on this tag. I think I can go ahead and trim the edges of my tag now. Go ahead and do that. Give me a better idea of where I can place my focal image. Okay. Clean all that up. Okay. Now, let's see what we've got to work with here. Yeah, that'll work. So I want to, if I can find them, because again, I rearranged just this week. I've got to try and find my inks. Here they are. And I'm going to use my archival ink in coffee. I'm going to ink a little around my focal image here. And I want to ink around my tag as well. But I think, yeah. Okay, I think I need a new ink pad there. It's starting to drop little pieces on me when I use it. The foam's coming off. It's lasted quite a while, so I can't complain. I think I'm going to put that right there. But first, I think I want a little bit more background on there. So what I think I'm going to do, I don't drag everything off into the floor ahead of time, is I'm going to get out my bucket of texture here. And I'm going to, first off, I'm going to use this. I love this stamp. I have to use this stamp. There's just no way I can get around not using it. So I'm going to ink it up again with my coffee, my archival ink and coffee, which I've had for so long. Yeah, I think it's just starting to lose. I need to get a new one. Just not as juicy as it used to be, so I don't get as good of impressions out of it. But I'm just using it as a background anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect impression. Just as long as there's a little bit of something there. Which there is. Okay, great. Okay, let's go ahead and do it here. That there. Then again on the other side here. Okay, that's great. Now I need, let's see, I'm going to get out my punchinella and I'm going to attempt to ink through that. I don't know if I'll be able to. I've never tried this before. I'm hoping it will work. We will see. See if it's going through. Yeah, it's going through. Great. Okay. I don't know if this prompt was only supposed to be reused stuff, but I had to create a background. There was just no way I couldn't. I learned that when I started doing mixed media, I couldn't let something go without a background on it. So it is what it is, and I hope I didn't do something wrong. Now I'm going to put down some, use my bubble wrap for some texture. I'm going to use, where's it at? Nicole's Golden Brown. Maybe if I can get it open. Now all you do for this is you paint it onto the bubble wrap and you press the bubble wrap down. And as you can see, there's a faintness of it. That is exactly what I'm wanting. I don't want anything overpowering and taking away from my focal point. And now, before I add my focal point, I'm going to clean this off. And add a little bit of white paint to it. And we are going to put some white splatters and some dark splatters before I add my focal point. I will need my fan brush for this. Not enough paint. Let's try that. Take two. If that don't do it, nothing will. There we go. Okay. There's my white ones. Okay. And get those dry real quick. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and put my focal point down before I put down my black splatters. So, take my paper back out, get my glue stick back out, do a really good coating of the glue stick here. Okay, and now, clean me off a spot here real quick. I'm going to do my black splatters. No, I think I will do them in chocolate brown since I've got browns in the background. Keep it a little bit more cohesive. Fan brush here. Proceed to splatter. Okay. Now I will dry that, clean up, and be back. So I got that done. I've got it dried. I cleaned up. Now I'm thinking maybe I want to outline my little doggy image just so it'll pop a little bit. And I really don't know how my pen's going to do. I don't have a real good pen for this, so we'll just have to see if it can make it. think I'm going to do a sketchy outline instead of staying so close to it, because staying close to it isn't achieving what I want. So let's do a sketchy outline. Go back around. Okay. Okay, I think I like that. I think I'm going to call that one done, and I really like the way it turned out. So that is how that tag was created. So you got to watch it from beginning to end, concept to creation. I hope you enjoyed the process video as much as I enjoyed creating the tag. I will link Nina Ribina's Facebook group in the description below, so make sure you check it out. They seem to be a great group of people, and they are very supportive from what I have seen. Other than that, if you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click on that subscribe button. When you click on the subscribe button, please make sure you click the little bell icon so you'll be notified of all my future video uploads. With all that said, as always, be crafty, be healthy, and be safe. Night, y'all.